Wrestling fans, what's going on, man? It's Black Couch Booking back with another video. If you're new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. And if you're old to the channel, thank you for joining the Couch crew. Thank you for the love and support thus far. I'm gonna keep the intro short and sweet, as some of you have complained that my intros are long as hell. I just like talking to y'all, man. Y'all my people, that's all. But like I said, thank you for the love and support as always. And even if you don't like my content, man, thank you for watching. And good, bad, and indifferent, this is what I like to do. So thank you. But anyway, in today's video, I'm gonna ask the question, and it's a very loaded question: does femininity have a place in modern day wrestling? Let's get right into it. So, the reason why I've been thinking about this, I've had multiple conversations with multiple different individuals, my friends and my people in real life, and my guy Ricky the Shadow. Shout out to Ricky the Shadow, man. Check out his channel, please. We were talking about how, Raw is about to go to Netflix. Things are about to get a little bit more, less. We've been left the PG era in the past, where we've gotten away with, more profanity and more vulgarity, I believe. But in real time, we have to decide, WWE has to decide whether or not they're going to go all in, all in. If they're going to go all in with, being able to express all aspects of being a woman wrestler. Now, obviously, we know historically what women were, subjected to back in the day of the Vince McMahon era, a little bit of the Diva era, but really right before the Diva era, where there were serious women's wrestlers. We knew who they were. And, after Trish Stratus, had to endure barking like a dog and always posing for Playboy and sitting on Miss McMahon's lap and getting bent over and stretched by Triple H and all this nonsense. We finally saw that all this time, under all that nonsense, there was actually a great women's wrestler, one of the greatest of all time, Lita. Even Lita has always been, the tomboy looking, extreme dressing, radical chick, but she was beautiful as well, and she was a great wrestler. Victoria, everyone knows historically Victoria was known as a great wrestler, but was never rewarded for that. Yes, she was the women's champ, but at the end of the day, because she wasn't quote unquote what Vince McMahon's version of sexy was, she was often subjected to doing, being the butt of the jokes, being clowned for not being as beautiful as the other women, or just being used as a pawn or a joke, to face a woman that was so supposedly deemed more sexy and attractive, even though Victoria was the superior wrestler. So now that we're in modern day times, we see that a guy like Shawn Michaels is doing something very great in NXT, in my opinion, which is making WWE feminine again without being too ridiculous, in my opinion. However, I will critique. I'm not going to criticize. I will critique this one move. And I made a video about this already. The sexy red thing was, I understand. I get it. You're trying to bring casual fans to the product. You're trying to get the subscriptions, the Peacock subscriptions up. You're trying to get people who never watched WWE to watch WWE at least for this one time, if they're not going to be retained as a fan. Such as, WrestleMania, all the rappers were out, Wale, Meek Mill, even Kyle Kuzma's girlfriend, Winnie Harlow was there. There were a lot of people there that could just bring new eyes to the product. Yes, but I will critique that one thing because, having a rapper working during your product and all this, and, I get it. We can have fun sometimes. Everything doesn't have to be serious, and I get that was a part of bringing femininity back to the WWE. It wasn't the greatest move in my opinion, but you know what? It did bring ratings to NXT Heatwave, I believe that's when it was. So I'll take it for what it's worth. But I am a little wishy-washy on that. I'm 50-50. However, Triple H on the other hand is a different kind of guy. If you don't know Triple H's past dating history, then you probably won't know what type of women I'm sure he prefers to book as, the top of the roster. Triple H is either going to go for the wrestling purists, the Baileys, the Becky Lynches, people who aren't extremely physically gifted, super duper ripped up physique, but he knows that they can wrestle their ass off and put a 5-star match. Or he's going to go for the women who are super duper ripped up, buff physique, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and even not the super duper ripped up, buffed up physique, but bigger women, Nia Jax, and people of that nature, right? So sadly, listen, WWE, we're supposed to like put ourselves in a fantasy, and it's not reality. You know, we know, you know, it's scripted. You know, we know all this stuff. We're supposed to just put ourselves and root for these characters, these larger than life folk. But WWE is also a reflection of real life. So Triple H has one of the hardest tasks, which is to navigate which part of the social climate is he going to go on, because there's a part of the social climate that says, oh, women should be able to express themselves, dress how they want, dance how they want, do what they want without being, you know, called, you know, certain words and slurs. But then there's the opposite in that, where people are like, women shouldn't be subjected to having to, you know, wear such, you know, such revealing clothing when they wrestle, and have their cheeks out, and have the cameraman zoom in on their cheeks, and be subjected to doing romance angles on TV, even especially if they're not romantically involved with the person in real life. And they should be strong women. They should be able to show off their wrestling. So it's two sides of the spectrum, and it would be a cop out for me to say that I fall in the middle. But let me say this, right? There are women that are hybrids of both. Tiffany Stratton, in my opinion, not the greatest talker. She's very young though. Like these women, a lot of these women are like 26 and down, so I don't have a problem with them developing. But a Tiffany Stratton is not only she athletic and she looks good, you know, she's very toned. Like she has a nice physique, and she takes her, you know, takes her body seriously, which is something, you know, I applaud her for. So if you can say what you want, whether you like the gimmick or not, I can say she puts in the work. She just needs to get better mic skills, and then it's an opinion, right? I think Rhea Ripley is a good-looking woman, but there are guys who say, "Why do you think she's a good-looking woman? She's hella buff and she looks like a dude." This is what other people are saying, not me. Bianca Belair, very good-looking woman, and she's buff. So it's always going to be two sides of the spectrum. But I would say that there is a place for femininity in today's wrestling. You just have to know how to balance it. Because if in NXT, I feel like it's going more toward the left, and in WWE, well, the main roster is going more toward the right. Liv Morgan right now is in a position that is very, I would say, unfavorable. Because at the end of the day, we like Liv Morgan, we like the story, we like what's happening with Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio. But at the end of the day, there are people who still wouldn't take her seriously. Just like with her first run as the Smackdown Women's Champion, it was taken from her because the fans turned on her. The reason why the fans aren't turning on her right this second, which is very surprising to me, I would say, is because people know that Dominic Mysterio is a massive heel. He got massive heat, and that is feeding on Liv Morgan. So people are like giving Liv Morgan a pass, I would say. But at the end of the day, people want Rhea Ripley to be the champion. At the end of the day, on the main roster, it doesn't matter how good you look. People want a dominant champion that can wrestle. Even casual fans will critique a Liv Morgan's wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Maxine Dupri's wrestling. Liv Morgan is way better than Maxine Dupri, but just bear with me in what I'm trying to say, right? Liv Morgan is probably the most feminine women's champion right now. Obviously you got Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, but their gimmick is like weird. I mean, Isla Dawn looks really, really good in my opinion. Like, whew, you see on Instagram? But you know what I'm saying? Like, their gimmick is different, so people aren't looking at them as the super feminine women. They are the weird anarchy women going against the big buff women. Liv Morgan is a super feminine woman going against the big buff woman. But guys, we all know how this is gonna end, and that might be vindictive of how this topic is gonna end. I think the big buff women that can wrestle are gonna edge out the more feminine women, because not only are the big buff strong women like better wrestlers and they're more imposing, they look good as well. So the feminine women are never gonna really win big or win big for a while or have a title reign that you're like, you know what, that was a good title reign. This Liv Morgan title reign right now redeemed her SmackDown Women's Championship title reign, but how long is that gonna last? Look at somebody like a Zelina Vega. Ooh, I had to bring up my lady at least one time, guys. You know the deal. Like, let's not play around. Look at someone like a Zelina Vega, right? Beautiful, popular, can wrestle, but small, you know, not muscular. And Triple H thinks about that. Obviously, there's such thing as an underdog story and the littlest superstar overcoming the biggest superstar. But look at the men. They didn't want to give Daniel Bryan that opportunity for the longest. The fans had to force their hand because Vince McMahon, Triple H included, had the decision. Daniel Bryan's such a small guy with a beard. Like he's not bigger, better than a Randy Orton. He's not even bigger, better than a Seth Rollins or Batista or this guy or Brock Lesnar. So why should we put him? And the feminine women are in that same position, if you ask me, because even if someone like a Maxine Dupree was to win the championship once, how long do you think that title reign would last? So really, does femininity have a place in wrestling besides just being eye candy and selling merch and bringing in fans? So when I say does femininity have a place in wrestling, that is a spot, but should it just be that spot? Just to bring in money, just to pose for Sports Illustrated? Like eventually they're gonna turn the tides, right? And I think they're not gonna do nothing like Playboy, but I think WWE will start having like calendar deals again in Sports Illustrated, because like I said, you got to pick a side. Are you going to be the women empowerment side where you could be able to do whatever you want, express your sexuality, or are you going to be the other side where no, these are real athletes, these are real superstars here, just like the men. They're going to have accolades, multi-time championship runs. We're not going to have them twerking and busting it open on Raw because Raw's moving to Netflix. You have to make that decision. Now, like I said, I think that we can find a middle ground with that, but you have to feed the feminine women more title reigns, more big wins, like things like that as well, or it's not going to be even balanced, and you're just going to prove the point that we might as well just start picking up the women who can actually wrestle. Stop picking up women who are former cheerleaders. Stop picking up women who are reality stars. Stop picking up women who are movie stars. Even pick up the good looking women like a Paige Van Zandt. Not right now, because her AEW Ring of Honor, whatever she was doing, wasn't good. But like a Lola Vice, who's really, really good looking, really, really feminine, but she can actually fight, and eventually she'll be able to translate that to, you know, being a WWE superstar rather than just being an NXT prospect, you know, something like that, right? But Triple H has to invest in that. Shawn Michaels is fully invested in the opposite, which is the feminine. There aren't a lot big, strong women there. There are a lot of hybrids, like a Sol Ruka is a hybrid. I would say a Kalani is a hybrid to a certain extent. Obviously, she's not super physically imposing, but she's in shape. She has like a gymnastics type of physique. Tiffany Stratton, she was in NXT, like that. And then there are the women who are on the complete opposite end of both of those, which is like an Io Sky, an Asuka. Now they look good, but they're not like sexy, feminine, I'm showing off my body type of women. Also, they're not big, strong, buff type of women. So what is your place for them as well? Do you change their gimmicks? Do you make an Io Sky a sexy gimmick? No. Io Sky's not about to gain 20 pounds of muscles no time soon. So it's a conversation, a difficult conversation to have. Listen, my demographic of supporters, I have 94% male supporters and 6% women supporters. But listen, I love women's wrestling. The women's Royal Rumble got me back into women's wrestling heavily because I saw the balance, because there were so many women. I saw the strong women who could wrestle, and I saw the beautiful women. So both caught my eye. At the end of the day, this is a business, it's a product, and you have to catch people's eyes and attention. So does femininity have a place in WWE? Absolutely. How do we capitalize on that? That's a different video. Thanks for your love and support. Hope you guys enjoy the video today. I love having these conversations with you, and please comment down below what is your opinion. I would really like to know. I want to know what's next, and I want to make another video. Thank you.